Today we're joined by Grant from Nuveo, the company behind Tableau DVRs. He's the CEO and founder of the company. He's here to join us to talk about Tableau and the broadcast market as a whole. Welcome, Grant.
Thanks. It's great to be on the show.
Hey, can you just give us a quick history of Nuveo and what the Tableau DVR is for everybody?
Sure. Well, we launched the Tableau DVR back at CES in 2014 and had a great reaction, and the product's been extremely successful ever since. But what it is essentially is a digital video recorder, but rather than, for conventional cable and satellite, it records free over-the-air HDTV. So that means you need an antenna to pick up those local broadcast signals that are delivered by all your local TV stations. And that attaches to our DVR, which is a physical device that you would buy on Amazon or Best Buy. Then you would you download an app onto whatever device you want to actually watch TV on. And we support apps for pretty much any device you'd own, from smartphones to tablets to Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku. You name it, we have an app. So once you download that app, the app communicates with that DVR that's attached to the antenna, and then it allows you to watch live TV or record TV and play it back whenever you want.
Yeah, I actually have several of the Tableau DVRs here, and I use it every day now. Really love it, so I'm glad you're here today.
My pleasure.
Hey, let's jump in. So Nuveo reported some great growth statistics recently with a 268% growth over the last 3 years. What's driving that growth? Can you talk a little bit about the market as a whole that brought that about?
Sure. Well, I think, what's really driving, our growth is just the overall success of what we call over-the-top video. So those are services that, rather than riding over a conventional cable or satellite infrastructure, ride over the internet. So, the poster child for this would be Netflix. So Netflix is now in almost 2/3 of U.S. homes, and they've got Hulu and Amazon Prime and other services. So viewers are more and more shifting their viewing habits to this over-the-top video, but they still want that local TV and broadcast. They still want their local news. They want to enjoy their local sports. And, typical customers starting to question the value they're getting from their traditional cable and satellite. So if they have, bought a Roku, let's say a couple of years ago, they start watching Netflix. If they happen to discover us, that's great. They buy our product, they install it, and now they've got that free over-the-air TV experience on that same box that they're losing for OTT. Netflix gets that box in the house, and we really ride on that infrastructure. And in fact, if you look at the growth in people using local broadcast, it's almost doubled in the past 3 to 4 years. So it's gone from about 9% to about 16% today of the U.S. population actually uses an antenna for a lot of their, local television. So I think those two factors, the growth of OTT, the availability of broadband internet, and the fact that, people have these boxes now, they have the Rokus and the Apple TVs, has really created, the market demand for us.
I find it interesting that sometimes people forget that there's a DVR out there for over-the-air TV. Today, had somebody ask me, hey, I watched the World Series last night. I want to rewatch part of it, but I watched it on my antenna, so I don't have it. Have you noticed that more and more people are once again rediscovering the idea of over-the-air TV and DVRs? And how have you seen that all evolve recently?
Yeah, well, I think if you look at historically in the U.S. market about, penetration of DVRs, and these are predominantly cable and satellite DVRs, about 50%. So if you're migrating off of that to OTA because of, the cost savings, the better quality picture, you actually miss that feature, because the main thing a DVR lets you do is not just time shift the programming so you can watch it when you want to watch it, but it also allows you to skip over the commercials you're maybe not interested in. So it does really substantially enhance the whole viewing experience. And I think people going, straight from a DVR on their cable and satellite system to just, antenna connect to their TV, really start to miss that part of the experience.
With over-the-air TV continuing to see growth among all age groups, from baby boomers to millennials, how are you seeing that impact broadcast television as a whole?
As I said, we're obviously huge proponents of broadcast television. I think it creates a great, It's a great signal. The key fact is it's free, so anybody can get it. The quality is traditionally better than cable or satellite. So, from a broadcaster's perspective, I think OTA is broadcast friendly because it's just bringing even more eyeballs, to their advertising. And that's the primary means that broadcasters use to monetize their content. So, I think it's a very synergistic relationship. I think OTA is a great addition to, the other delivery mechanisms. And, I'm glad that it's here and it's being enhanced.
You kind of see a lot of that with broadcast television become more and more permanent. More and more people are saying they really want it. And increasingly, services like PlayStation Vue, Hulu, DirecTV Now are starting to offer it streaming. Antenna sales and over-the-air TV seems to be continuing to grow. Why do you think people are moving to antennas even when they have a streaming option? Are you concerned at all about the growth of streaming options too?
I'm not concerned. I think there's a couple of differentiators, with the OTA experience, over the air broadcast versus, the OTT experience you're getting with PlayStation Vue and Sling TV. One is that the signal, from the local broadcast is much higher quality, so it's not compressed, and it's transmitted in its native form. So that means you get a much, higher quality picture than you would over those services. And that's just to do with the limitations of how we need to compress and deliver video over the internet. The other aspect is that it's free. You don't have to pay for that cable or satellite subscription. So there's a dramatic cost saving by using that local video. So I think there'll always be multiple solutions. The other fact is that 2/3 of the U.S. TV stations are not owned by the networks. They're actually owned by affiliates or they're independent. So that means that in a typical market, the chances are good that you're not going to be able to get all the local stations on one of those OTT services, like Hulu or YouTube TV or PlayStation Vue. Now, they're adding more all the time, but they're still not all there. So if you want to get all your local stations in the highest quality and for free, that's OTA. So I think there'll always be a market for that.
Yeah, it is a lot of truth there that not all the stations are out there, and even antennas are a great substitute to that. Do you, with the growth there on over-the-air TV and streaming and antennas, how are you seeing that play out for you? Are you seeing a lot of people coming in recently or not?
No, we're seeing growth year over year, and the challenge for us, because we're still a startup, we're a relatively small company, is really educating the market, right? If you talk to a lot of your friends, who are not in the industry or familiar with tech, and ask them if did you know you can get an antenna and get local stations for free, they think you're from a different planet. They how does that work? Is that magic? So the awareness that this is out there and it's available is just not there. But I think it's increasing. We're seeing more people write about OTA. We're seeing more attention in the media and PR. And certainly, when cable systems have these blackouts, when they get into disagreements with the local stations over how much they're going to pay them, that also increases awareness, because the alternative is, well, you can still get it over the air for free. So I think, the big problem is just an education problem. People just aren't aware of what they can get for free over the air.
So let's talk about the apps you use and the devices you work with. For people who are not familiar with the Tablo DVR, you plug your antenna in, and then it streams it out to a Roku, a Fire TV, an Apple TV, your computer, your phone, your tablet, pretty much everything. What devices are you seeing are most popular out there with the Tablo?
I'd say the Roku, it kind of follows, market share in the streaming media market. So Roku, by far our most popular device, was one of the first apps we developed. We put a lot of time and effort into it, so it's a really nice looking app. It's superior to the competition and even, what you can get from, online from Hulu and PlayStation Vue and whatnot. So that would be number one. Then in number two, I think Amazon with their Fire TV ecosystem has really, become effective in the last couple of years. And then in third place, Apple TV, mainly because it's a premium product. So it's higher priced than the other two alternatives. And then, we do see a lot of viewing on tablets and smartphones, but, strangely enough, people like to watch TV on TV. So the primary, device they use is going to be their big screen TV with a Roku, Fire TV, and then Apple TV and others.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that on my end too, that, you may quickly jump in on your phone to watch a little bit of something, but you're not going to sit there for hours to watch it on your phone. You want to watch it on that big screen TV.
True enough, but it's surprisingly that's also age dependent. So if you get down into Gen Z and millennials, they actually do watch a lot of content on their phones, and phones have got a lot bigger over the years. I mean, an iPhone, I guess 8 Plus is actually quite a large screen. So they say for a camera, the best camera you have is the one you have on you, which means the one in your cell phone. So sometimes the best screen to watch TV on is the one you have with you, which is your cell phone. But it tends to skew into the younger age group and demographics.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of truth in that right there. Hey, speaking of cord cutters, people becoming cord cutters, if you could talk to somebody who is becoming a cord cutter right now, and they're looking at all their options, streaming services over the air, all the DVRs out there, what would you say to them to convince them of the importance of an antenna and getting a Tablo DVR?
Well, I'd say first thing, just try an antenna. So every TV, with the exception of some recent, Vizio models, will have a tuner in it. So you can hook that antenna up to your TV, and I think that'll expose you to just the quality of that broadcast signal. And you'll get a good appreciation for what stations are available in your area. And I think once you see that, you'll be convinced, particularly since the price is compelling, that this is the way to go. So the next stage is, well, okay, I do miss my DVR. I do like to be able to time shift programming. I like to pause live TV. And that's really where we come in. So once you've made that decision, I love OTA. Now I just want a better experience with OTA. That's where I believe our product is a great addition, because it gives you all that convenience, and it gives you the convenience as well to watch TV over the internet. So if you're traveling, you can watch your local news, watch your sports. If you're at work and you forget, somebody told me about a show that I may be interested in, you can pull up the app and immediately schedule to record. So, having that DVR just gives you a tremendous amount of flexibility and convenience.
I often see when people talk about a la carte TV, and typically the first 5 or 8 channels include all the locals, CBS, ABC, NBC, etc. And I think so many people forget that they're just free out there, and that could save a lot of money.
And in a lot of markets, like our average U.S. customer gets 40 channels. And there's a lot of, what they call sub-channels. So this may not be the main channel being broadcast, but there's an additional sub-channel. And some of those channels, can have a lot of, Spanish content. They may have a lot of content, old TV shows and old movies. There's classic networks out there. So I think you'd just be amazed at the content you can actually get over the air. It's just not confined to the major broadcasters.
Wow, I didn't realize it was 40 on average. Last time we did a survey, it was about 30. And I know a ton of channels have been coming out in the last couple of years, so that's very interesting there. But let's kind of wrap this up. Is there anything you really wanted to point out about Tablo or Nubio you wish everybody knew? Any kind of last thoughts you wanted to leave with?
Yeah, I think we just launched in stores in Best Buy, so we'd love you to support Best Buy and purchase the product there. It's we've got a new model out that includes flash storage, so it includes about 40 hours of programming on the device, which is plenty for most people. So there's nothing to add. You just buy an antenna that works for you, and it could be as small as a Mohu antenna that looks like a piece of paper you put in your window. You attach it to our device, you tuck it away, and then now on every app or every device you have in your home, you can enjoy that great TV, live or recorded. It's also important to note that our Tablo DVR is a whole home DVR, so it will do, 4 or 5 TVs simultaneously, or a combination of cell phones or tablets. So, everybody in the home can enjoy TV on whatever device they want to enjoy it on.
I used to do that. In our old home up in Michigan, before we moved down to Texas, our TV was in the basement, but I put the Tableau DVR in an upstairs bedroom with the antenna. I just kind of plugged it in, hid it behind the dresser, and left it there. And that way we could watch it in the family room in the basement and get all the channels where the antenna in the basement didn't pick up anything.
So, absolutely. And you didn't have to pull coax cable throughout your entire house.
No. Here we did that by putting in we put an antenna in the attic, ran a cable into the closet, and put our Tableau in the closet there and streamed it through the whole home.
Right.
So it's a great feature. Hey, speaking of, we're talking about DVRs and over-the-air TV. SBX Out, what are you watching right now? Is there any interesting shows you're following?
I'm a bit of a traditionalist. When I, get out of the office, I'm kind of tired. I like to just, watch comfort television, as I would call it. So I'm big on the network shows. I like NCIS. I watch Law and Order. I watch The Big Bang Theory and some of the other comedies. Most people don't realize that about 85% of the most popular TV shows are available over the air. So obviously, as an OTA DVR manufacturer, that's what I tend to watch.
All right. Well, hey, thank you greatly for joining us. We really appreciate your time here.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thanks very much.